it's time for a Whiskey Wednesday review. And last week, the winner of the poll was, of course, Larceny Small Batch, which I love that noise. Just the sound of a cork leaking a bottle. Anyway, it's a wheated bourbon, bottled at 46% alcohol by volume. That's 92 proof. This, I believe, is out of Heaven Hill. Old Fitzgerald Distillery. Okay, so maybe not. But it's a wheated mash bill, which puts it in the same category as like Maker's Mark. And it's the same price range, sort of ballpark-ish area. This is usually about $30. Maker's Mark is maybe a little bit more. And the story behind this is sort of harking back to Johnny Fitzgerald, who liberated some whiskey over his time. And so their story is that he had a fondness for wheated bourbon and would steal from the best barrels. And so they're sort of saying he stole from the best barrels, and this is sort of dedicated to his story, therefore it must be from the best barrels, right? And again, small batch doesn't really mean anything. Small batch for them could be 1,000 barrels. It could be 100 barrels. It could be 10 barrels, but you don't know because small batch effectively doesn't mean anything. Has no legal meaning. Now, I've let it sit air out a little bit. But before I drink, this Friday, on the 23rd of July, Joe O'Sullivan and Caitlin Bartlemay, the master distiller and head distiller of Clear Creek Distillery in Portland, Oregon, are doing a virtual tour and Q&A at Clear Creek while they distill a run of their award-winning McCarthy's peated Oregon single malt. It's happening starting at 2 p.m. Pacific Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 23rd in the Whiskey Lodge Discord server. There's a link down in the description down below. I think that everybody should join us. Watch, listen, maybe ask a couple questions. It's going to be cool and exciting. Anyway, now to the whiskey. Weird. There's sort of a soft, sort of chocolatey note with some like caramel, sweet, oaky notes, not the like bitter, tanniny stuff that you get in a lot of older bourbons. It's surprisingly gentle nose, not a whole lot that leaps out of the glass. Again, some like soft chocolatey notes, some corn grain comes through, some caramel, a little bit of vanilla. Maybe some of that like dusty old paper smell. Just a little bit of like cordial cherry, sweet oakiness, a little bit of caramel, a little bit of vanilla on the palate. guide. So, to me, wheat generally presents as like an earthy, chocolatey, rich flavor. And this has some of it, but it's also got lots of like cherry sweetness and a little bit of caramel and vanilla and like that classic corn shininess. It doesn't have that uh, bitter herbal rye note to balance the corn, which makes it a lot sweeter. And some people will not like that. Personally, I'm a big fan of rye whiskey, and so this, while it is enjoyable, isn't my favorite bourbon. The finish fades fast, almost to nothing. It's mostly bittersweet tannic notes, um, more of that chocolate cherry uh, flavor, and a little like a hint of like salted caramel. Just a little bit of char maybe. So, do I enjoy it? Yeah, it's okay. It's not my favorite bourbon, but it's pretty good. Do I recommend it? If you prefer sweeter bourbons and you like weeded stuff like from Maker's Mark, yeah, sure. And do I think it's a good value for the money? I think it's all right. Um, Feels a little bit young in the mouth. Um, it's straight bourbon, so it's more than 2 years old. It's more than, I think it's more than four. It doesn't need to have the age statement on it. So it's at least 4 years old, but it feels very shiny and young in the mouth. It's interesting. But yeah, I do recommend it if you like sweeter bourbons. Now let's see what's replacing it in the poll. Timely. McCarthy's peated Oregon single malt, which means that in the poll that you can vote in, if you are a member of my Patreon, which you can join for $1 a month, there's a link in the description down below. Caddy's Irish Whiskey, McCarthy's peated Oregon single malt, the Glenmorangie, the original 10-year-old, and Auchentoshan American Oak. Now, again, if you want to vote in my poll, you can join my Patreon. It's $1 a month. It gets you the right to vote. It gets you Patreon exclusive content. It gets you these videos early, access to a Patreon Discord server where you can hang out with myself and members of my local whiskey club who are there because being alone in a Discord server is boring and sad. You get a voice in the cocktail videos that I do, and there might be some other perks coming down the line. If you'd like to support my channel but you are not a fan of Patreon or you would prefer a quick, easy, one-time contribution, I have a Ko-fi. There's a link to the description down below. I'm also selling these adorable That's the Spirit pot still stickers that my friend Alyssa at Abercat Studios designed for me. There's a link to them on Etsy down in the description down below. I also have some stuff on Redbubble. Mostly like stuff that I've designed myself. In fact, it's all stuff that I designed myself, I think, at this point. Including a different That's a Spirit pot still sticker that started out as a, gee, could I actually do this? And the answer is I can, kind of. It's not as good, but it's there. I think that's everything. So, until next time, stay happy, stay geeks, sláinte. coming back to that, got like a whiff of marshmallow, which is bizarre. Anyway, been trying to do more of these little things after I end the video. Easter eggs for people who stick around, which I think maybe one or two people, I think, so far. Anyway, why don't you let me know in the description down below what you think of wheated bourbon versus high rye bourbon versus that which does not say which it is. I think that it'd be interesting, and if everybody everybody who sees his comments, it'll be probably 4 or 5 people, and you can fight about who's right in the comments. Sláinte.